guitar some real balls in a good way. This is Soulstring, and today we are diving into the Nembrini Audio Hughes Kettner Puretone guitar plugin. Is it worth your hard-earned cash? Well, stick around and let's find out. If, like me, you've always been a fan of Hughes Kettner, and the Puretone has a kind of cult following because of its raw, untamed, warm tube sound, then you'll be super excited to try this one out. Therefore, let's break it down fast, look at the plugin itself, play some tones, and see what we think about it. As always, if you're ready to geek out on more gear like this, hit that like and subscribe. Oh, and just before we get started, 2 housekeeping things. 1, neither Nembrini Audio nor Hughes Kettner sent me this to try out. I bought it with my own money, so all thoughts are my own. 2, all the sounds you hear, including the little jam tracks, are all just recorded with the Nembrini Audio. There is no messing around with EQs or post effects or things to make it sound better. If you like the tones, you like the tones. If you don't, move on. Okay, here we are. I am all plugged in. Today I am playing this beautiful guitar by Blind John's Guitar, and then I am going straight into my audio interface, and as you can see, I've got the Nembrini Audio Puretone plugin in my effects chain, and that's it. No post EQ, nothing. So all the sounds only come through that. So let's start off by just saying, what's the deal here? Well, the way I understand it is Nembrini Audio and Hughes Kettner sort of teamed up, I guess, to model the famous Puretone amp, which is a 25-watt monster. Single channel, simple controls, and that famous growl knob. So let's look at the plugin. I've got to say, it looks really, really good. I mean, look at this, the graphics are amazing. I generally like the Hughes Kettner style of amps aesthetically, and this one does it real justice. In terms of layout, very simple. You will not get confused by this. And that's another thing I love. Everything's on one page. So you don't need to menu dive, anything like that. At the top, you have an input and an output where you can set the various volumes. Then you have, first in your chain, the pre-amplifier pedals. So you've got a noise gate, a filter where you can kind of fix the high and low end, which tightens or loosens it up. And you have a super cool overdrive pedal. What you can also do, which I think Nembrini have changed, is you can always also change the order of them, which is another added bonus because it does make a difference. Then moving on, you have your amplifier. The real star of the show here is this growl. Very cool. Then you have bass, middle, treble, so you've got your 3-band EQ and a volume. That's it. No rocket science. Then you have your cabinets and your IR loader. So Nembrini Audio offers their hybrid modeling technology in terms of cabinets, and they give you a total of 6 cab emulations. You have 2 mics for each of the cabinets. You can put them axis, off axis, and as always, you can kind of set the distance and the position. If you don't want to use these, you can go to the impulse response. If you go browse, you have a nice selection of chop tones, IRs, and you can have a total of 3 running at the same time. Finally, on the chain, you have a rack space. You've got an EQ, you've got a tape delay, and you've got a spring reverb. It's really everything most people need. Bear in mind that this is aimed at people that want a kind of unfiltered, pure sound, so they're not going to go with 2 million different pedals. What I just think we should do is go to the factory presets, because look, I always judge these amp synths on their factory presets and see how good they sound. So let's just start with the first one, 70s Magic. Kind of cool. Yeah, we are rocking. So we've got nothing going on here. And the growl is halfway. Sounds good, man. Let's move on to the ambient clean. Let's go to the bluesy sound. I like that. Let's move on to the crunch. Let's move on the second mic. Let's go with a bit of effects delay tools. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, let's move on to the ever shots. No idea what that is. Pretty cool. That's now Heart's guitar clean. Interesting. Let's go to heavy drop D. Ooh. Let's do the Hound Dog Blues. Let's now move on to the Leicester Magic. I'm guessing that's an LP. Raw 7 string now. Let's give that a pass. Oh, let's do sustained solo. That was cool. Last one on the list. Let's do the Tone of Gypsies. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed those sound samples. Here's the thing, we need to move on to pros and cons. So let's start with the pros. One, like all Nembrini audio plugins, it is stupid easy to use. Even I can do it. Very little learning curve, everything or most things are on one screen. You can control it, really good interface, really good layout. It's legit. Number two, the sound is so good. I'm so surprised by it. It actually does what it's supposed to do. It stands out from the rest. I really like the bowls. I really love that growl setting, that knob that you can increase. It just adds some attitude that differs from a lot of guitar plugins. And that's the main thing for me. I don't want everything to sound the same. If you want to sound a little different, if you want to sound as close as possible to a really warm tube amp just almost exploding, this does it. Number 3, I've got to say the effects for me are really good in this. I am not one of those people that uses 300 effects. This for me is plenty. It's got delay, it's got reverb, it's got EQ, everything I need, and they all sound really, really good. Very flexible, so easy to tweak. You can even move them along the chain. Very complete effects section. And my 4th and final pro has to be the clean side. Look, again, it's personal choice, but I don't like my cleans to be too clean. If you're into the kind of slightly dirty cleans, then this is for you. And now, let's move on to the cons. Look, I don't have that many cons. I'm a big fan of this plugin. As I said at the beginning, I'm a big fan of Nembrini audio. I guess the only things I could say is, 1, if you are in super death metal or high gain territory, I don't know if this is for you. You might want to consider it. Number 2, and please guys, tell me if I'm being really stupid. I can't find a tuner on this. Why is there no tuner? Maybe it's just me and it's such a stupid little thing, but I would have really loved to have a little tuner on the main interface like all the other plugin providers do. Anyways, tiny detail, but just came to mind. Oh yes, and the biggest con has to be that this is so good, I forgot to leave my studio. Okay, so let's now move on a serious note, to who this amp is for. I've got to say, the number one thing with this is if you love those bluesy, organic tones, not hyper-processed, then this is for you. I see it as being really relevant for blues, rock, indie, even ambient if that's your kind of thing. In terms of pricing, it's fair. I think the intro price was 49 bucks and now it's around just over 100 bucks. For me, if you're a tone chaser, if you want to get that real Hughes and Kettner thing, but you're silent practicing, or you don't want to have an external amp with a cabinet, blah, 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 this gets really close to it. If you compare it to some of its competitors, Neural DSP or Amplitude or any of those, look, it's simpler, it's less bloated, it's got that vintage vibe, it has a more maybe honest and simple structure to it, which I really like. So just to wrap this up, let's move on to my final thoughts. I think this is a fantastic plugin. I'm a big fan of Nembrini and they've really upped their game. Hughes and Kettner is a historic brand. It's a really great brand of amps. And the joining of these two companies to create this plugin is exceptional. I'm a big fan of both of them, and I'm not saying that because they're sponsoring it, because they're not. I think the cabinet section is excellent. They've included a number of IRs with it as well, so you can play around with it. The technology with moving the different mics sounds really good, but the included cabinets that they give you with the Puretone sound fantastic. And as you know, that always makes or breaks a plugin. And for me, really good work, very well done here. It's got everything you need in terms of effects, or at least everything I need. And it's just a fairly priced, good product that sits in that mid-range, and I think is going to be super useful for a lot of people, whether recording at home, in a studio as a producer, whatever it is. It just adds that real grunty, you can almost feel the air flowing tone to your sound. And as I said, it's got attitude, and that's something that's really hard to find. Give this thing a try. I'll put the links down below. There's a 14-day free trial. You don't pay anything. Try it out, because I think you'll be super surprised. So what do you guys think? Drop your favorite amp synths down below. I think this one is really good, but let me know your thoughts. If you dug this, smash, like, do whatever you want, but stay tuned because next week we are doing a guitar review and it is awesome. Trust me on that. So as always, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. As I always say, everyone just be happy, chill out, enjoy this beautiful world, be nice to each other and just play guitar. See you later, guys. Peace.